Hello guys, welcome back. Today we are here to discuss about a question called sign of the product array, question number 1822. So implement a function sign function x that returns if it will return 1 if x is positive, -1 if x is negative, 0 if x is equal to 0. You are given an integer array nums, let product be the product of all values in the array nums, return sign of product. Okay, so the question is very simple, guys. We have given an array and we need to find out product of all values in the array nums, and we need to return the sign of the product. If it is a negative number, if it is negative, return -1. If it is a positive, return 1. If it is equal to 0, return 0. This is what we need to do. So for this, give it a thought, guys. Do we really need to do a multiplication product? First thing, just give it a thought. Before that, let's see an example. So let's take an array equal to -1, 2, 3, 4, -2. Now let's do the product. -1 into 2, -2, -2 into 3, -6, -6 into 4, -24, -24 into 2, 48. 48. What was the sign of the last? So this is the value that we got. What is the sign here? Positive, which means 1 we have to return. We have to return 1. I hope the point is clear. Multiplying all the values, we got 48 and we need to return 1. Why? Because it's a positive number, right? Okay, now let's take one more value. Sorry. -1, 2, -3, and 0. 1 into -1, -1, -1 into 2, -2, -2 into -3, -6, -6 into 0, 0. Okay. So if you encounter 0, like, see, let's take 1 lakh also. If you multiply with 0, what happens, guys? This 1 lakh, it will become 0. It will become 0, right? That will become 0, which means if you have a 0 in your array, the product will be 0. That's all. Done. No need to even do anything, right? And one more thing here, if you want to observe, -10 into -10, what it will give me? 100, right? Positive value. So when you multiply two negative numbers, it will give you positive. It will give you positive. If you multiply three negative numbers, what it will give? It will give you negative value. It will give you negative. Why? Because as you all guys know, -1 into -1, it will give you 1. -1 into +1, it will give you -1, which means if you multiply negative values into negative values, it will give you a positive. Okay. Now, two negative values will give you one positive. And four negative values will give you same positive. Which means if number of negatives are even, result is positive. Result is positive, guys. Okay, if you want, like, we can take an example, -2 into -2 into -2 into -2. How many negative values we have? 4. So first pair, this will form a pair, which will give you positive 4. Second pair, this will give you 4. 4 into 4, 16. Done. Right? So every pair gives us a positive. So if you have even, which means you can form proper pairs, right? If you have an even number of negative values, it will form a even like equal positive pairs. So that will give you positive values, which in turn return you a positive value itself at the end. But let's take 5 values: -2, -2, -2, -2, -2. Now this will form a pair, give you 4. This will form a pair, give you 4. Now this is single. So 4 into 4, 16. 16 into -2, it will give you -32. -32, which means here number of negative values are 5. 5 does not form a proper pair. Pair means how much? Pair means 2. When you have 5, only 2 pairs are possible. One will be single like this. That's the reason. If the number of values are even, okay, if number of negative values are even, result is always positive. If they are odd, result is negative. Okay, why only we are concentrating on negative values is obviously positive into positive, it will give you positive only, right? So that's why there is no point of checking for positive values. And here one more small trick is, if you have 0, let's say we have 1 lakh values like this. Okay, 0, 1, 2, so on, 99,000 values are there. You encountered 0 here. Is it needed to check in the remaining array? No, because you may have, array can be having not 1 lakh, let's say as many possible values as it can. Okay, even though you have these many values, 1 0 can make you 0, right? That's the reason whenever you encounter a 0, what will be the answer? Answer is 0. That's all. That's all, guys. Okay, I hope the point is clear to everyone. So we have to concentrate on negative values. Negative values count is 0. Now let's take a for loop. Int I equal to 0, I less than nums of I. Sorry, nums dot length I plus plus. And if nums of I is negative, how we will say? If it is less than 0, that's all. It's negative, right? So what you will do? Negative count plus plus. And if in case nums of I is 0, what you will do? That's all. Return 0, which means the product will be 0 only. Negative sign is 0, right? And at the end of the day, if negative values are equal to even number, which means you will get a positive result where you need to return 1. Else, you will get a negative result, return -1. That's all. Whatever that we have here, same thing. I hope this is clear to you people. We are simply counting number of negative values. The main motto of finding the negative values count is, whenever you have even number of negative values, that will give you a result of positive. That's all. That's the main motto. And the motto of this one is, if you have 0 in your array, it means it will return 0. Obviously, it will return 0 when you multiply the array elements. That's the only motto here, guys. I hope you understand the question and logic that we have used here. And I am assuming that you enjoyed the video. Let's meet in the next video. Until then, see you guys.